Hello, this is Dr. Cora here again. I just want to challenge the media spin from, I think it was the Tipperary Star. I'm not certain about this, but it was one of the Tipperary newspapers, which I think was very unfair to me again. So I'm calling it media spin. So there's honesty in this here. At least there's I suppose Tipperary, well, it's a long way to Tipperary. Anyway, they won the All-Ireland. We have to give them a bit of credit. Before I begin, I want to place the following points on the record. In most counties yesterday, this was my talk today now, and none of this was reported fairly in the press. And this is why I'm doing it. There was no reports of this in the press at all, so I feel it was very unfair. I mean, it could have been summarised, but it wasn't even that in the Tipperary. It was all, it wasn't. This is what I'm saying. The coverage is all about one and not about the other, which means they're putting one, right ahead of everybody else and giving the rest of us who are academics and, our genuine independence no chance, or very little, which is very unfair on us. But I mean, all I can do is appeal to their better, I think one independent person said I was a glamorous mathematician, so I was very impressed with his good taste. So in most counties yesterday, and actually, in fairness, he was a fair journalist. He was absolutely. In most counties yesterday, councils did not nominate candidates. Last week, I was told, before I even spoke, that the outcome here was already arranged, and councillor indicated that they were voting for a national candidate who was not even before them. This is what I went around to a few of them who, can I ask you? No, we're voting for X, but I said X is a national candidate. She's not a candidate going for the local councils, or he, whatever the case may be. And there was silence. They didn't seem to realise that this was a different vote at all. This suggests that decisions, sorry, I have to get in here because this suggests that decisions were being made not on merit but on party allegiance and prior agreements, and it's all it's about power and control. I mean, this is what it all suggests to me. Such conduct was creating the appearance of collusion, or the appearance, perhaps, yes, of collusion, the perceptions, in other words, and undermines confidence in the integrity of the process. Second point I made was the Constitution, through Article 40, affirms equality before the law and fair participation in democratic life. Local government is intended to reflect diversity and openness. Where nominations appear blocked before debate, there is real risk that citizens are denied meaningful choice and that the principles of fair representation are compromised. The pattern across many counties now shows that the vast majority of candidates have been prevented from advancing. This does not only affect independents, though most independents appears to have been excluded in practice. No written guidance is available for new candidates like myself and others as how to approach councillors or engage with the process in a transparent way. Those without significant financial resources, political networks, or insider knowledge are effectively sidelined. Public servants face additional statutory barriers where party candidates benefit from established structures. This imbalance runs contrary to the principle recognised in the Supreme Court's McKenna judgment, which warned against democratic processes being tilted unfairly in favour of one side. Yet in practice, the safeguards affirmed in the McKenna appear to have been overlooked. I also wish to speak personally. I bring extensive international experience in policy development, governance and education, combined with deep national experience in law and public service. I was honoured this year with the Ramanujan Memorial Award for Excellence in Academic Leadership and an international award recognising vision, leadership and achievement. My recent policy research has been read and engaged with by people around across the world. Every day I'm getting letters and emails from academia, so and so from here, there, and everywhere is reading her. Please produce more. the iron. I have no more in me. I'm policied out at the moment. So despite this, I have been consistently undervalued, or I feel undervalued and overlooked, not because of merit, but because of political allegiance. And I feel that, I'm seen as a threat to other candidates. But sure, is that acceptable? When candidates of substance are blocked, when merit is undervalued, and when outcomes are arranged in advance, the real point is democracy is weakened. This does not reflect the Republican principles of fairness, openness, and meritocracy on which our institutions should stand. And I'm very strong on this. I'm very strong on meritocracy. And the importance of that we should, people should be awarded whatever they're awarded on meritocracy, not in terms of their connections. We have a notorious bad name for that in Ireland, but people would say there's an element of it everywhere, but particularly in Ireland. And when candidates of substance are blocked, when merit is undervalued, just to repeat this, and when outcomes are arranged in advance, democracy is weakened. This does not reflect the Republican principles of fairness, openness, and meritocracy on which our institutions should stand. Even the perception, this is the point that a lot of people on the ground are saying they're not going to go out to vote because of all of this. The perception of collusion or systemic exclusion damages trust. So this is what I'm hearing on the ground, even from people, where I come from. When the majority of candidates are excluded, when independents are disadvantaged, or the majority of independents are even blocked by independents, and when those with strong international and national credentials are discounted, public confidence in local democracy is inevitably eroded. For these reasons, I ask that these concerns be placed formally on the record, and I further suggest that practical remedies are required. Clear written guidance should be published for all candidates seeking presidential nomination through the county council process. Transparent nomination procedures should be adopted and applied equally. Independent and new candidates should be afforded the same opportunities to compete as party candidates. Without such reform, public faith in local democracy will continue to weaken. So those were the points I made. I also highlighted thank you to Agorda from Nina station, who helped me in a difficult situation 3 hours a number of years ago, and a female Gardaí from Port Leash, who couldn't have done more for me, and she was fantastic. And just to show that there are some outstanding, these were exemplary people in Garda Síochána who and I also paid some credit to Mr. Gerry Adams because of his work on the Good Friday Agreement. Just the work and the fact that the military option that he accepted, and he convinced others that the military option, that the negotiation option, the option to go into negotiation was going to bring more peace to Northern Ireland than sustaining the military option. And I am against the military option. I am against it. I'm against violence. But I admire how Mr. Gerry Adams was able to persuade, most of the Republican parties or people like that to agree to a ceasefire, and from there everything. And I mean that people were saying to get rid of the Northern Ireland Agreement and go for Northern Ireland, but I think what Gerry Adams and John Hume and Trimble achieved there, Triple was really a model, a world-class model of a peace deal, and it would be an insult, I think, to Gerry Adams. I mean, this is very strange now that we should go for United Ireland before it's wanted by both sides. So I think that, and I'm sure Mr. Adams will agree with me here, but the research suggests that the Northern Ireland Agreement was one of the best agreements of all time in recent history, and it's not perfect, and certainly the Brexit has damaged, has made it a lot more fragile. But still, the work that Jerry Adams and John Hume, in particular, who I'm a huge admirer of, and David Trill put in there, were absolutely critical. Each one had their own unique contribution. So I think that that Sinn Féin don't realise the contribution that Jerry Adams did here, and that actually asking for Northern Ireland now would diminish his contribution, and that is because I think we need more of this kind of model, more of a model of the type of negotiated agreement like the Northern Ireland Agreement elsewhere, where we have serious conflict. And one of my main themes would be to have a kind of a president in communication, like Labour in communication, where I would highlight issues like conflict resolution. Obviously I'd have to take a very neutral stand, but issues of the day like a housing crisis, conflict resolution, and I'm saying we need to move from arbitration in all our systems, to move from arbitration first before litigation, and this is obviously something that I'd be highlighting again, looking at the positive and negatives. I met somebody today I think would probably take the opposite view, but it's all views count. So that's their huge issues that I'd be highlighting in this communications, president in communications, like Labour in communications. I've been involved for many years, and I could see how they won the election using Labour in communication. So they were absolutely brilliant. But then, of course, that's, they can just interview one candidate, whereas we'd have to have a more neutral. I'd have to take, if I was elected, I would have to take, but I would certainly have something like Labour in communications, which is an online communications between the Labour Party and its grassroots, tackling the issues of the day on a regular basis. So I would like to emulate that, because it's a great model, and I've been involved in it for years but can't speak because I'm not a British citizen. I watch, and I've been very impressed with it, but I think we have to have all views in a president for communication model. So I'd like to remodel the Labour in communications model to a president of communication model, and discuss all these issues, including new ideas about moving to an arbitration first dispute resolution for all levels, so that this could also be part of the county council work, arbitration, resolution of local disputes. There's disputes everywhere. Perhaps we should have arbitration in the criminal system that Gardaí could get involved in, because they're always saying they're involved in all kinds of disputes, and they're negotiating, whereas really they're criminal, but they're doing an awful lot of negotiation. So that should be embedded in the criminal justice system as part of an arbitration law. So I know the current Minister for Justice is a barrister, but I think he needs to put justice before law. So that's called legal capture, a fantastic concept in law. The whole idea of legal capture, I'm fascinated by it now. It'll be my next paper. I've already written work on it. I've looked at the evidence, and it is research, but it's not implemented. So that's the story for today, and just to put the truth on the record about what I said today, and to say media spin, and it certainly was below par in terms of being compliant with the spirit of the McKenna judgment. Thank you.